What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Oddworld New N Tasty. So right after I do an episode saying I haven't heard of any major game-breaking bugs or anything, my last save file corrupted out of nowhere. I loaded it up to record and got kicked back to an error message. But more on that in just a moment, because we're about to be introduced to a new area, Paramonia.
I saw Paramonia, ancient and wild, where paramites lived before I was a child.
Stackable, you don't want to get shot. Hey, you don't want to get shot. There you go.
But we rounded them up, ignored their cries.
All right, we got this. Maybe we get to take off early.
We cut them all up for paramite pies.
This drum track in the background kind of reminds me of something David Wise might put together. So before I commence with the ranting, these are the wilds of Paramonia, and we're going to be reintroduced to our good friend Ellie the Elam in a little bit. These are the wilds of Paramonia, though. One of my favorite looking areas. I like this nice rustic foresty look. Just the whole area is kind of nice. And then as you go deeper into it, you get a very creepy atmosphere. Lots of big, huge spider webs in the background, soft, menacing blue lighting. There's a lot of good stuff. Very atmospheric level. It's got some annoying puzzles coming up, but I don't think we really hit the worst parts of it until we get to the temple. And then you have the paramites themselves, which again, just like the scrabs, have really cool designs. They're like these, you've seen the stone carvings of them in the mosaic lines, but we'll get a better look at them in the background of the level and as we get towards the temple. There are these giant spiders with hands for faces. Well, you got a good look at them in the cutscene, too. The Ellie sections... Oh, I hear sound cutting out in the background. That's another glitch. The Ellie sections here aren't nearly as complicated as the lead-up to the Scribanian Temple was. They're mostly just kind of these straight shots through. There's not a whole lot to the Paramonian Wild section. The temple, I think, tends to get short, or long, short, long. The temple seems to be a little bit more complicated than the Scrab Temple, but the areas leading up to him, I think the Scrab area is a lot harder than the lead up to the temple here in Paramonia. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about some of this game's bullshit-ass game-breaking bugs, because I just had to go through a whole lot of horse shit replaying the game up to this point, which is why there was no... Oh! Yeah, it's hard to deal with the throw arc of this rock. Actually, I think I could just roll this under him and it doesn't collide with this... Oh, I was too far away. Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm a little bit flustered, a little bit frustrated, as you can tell, because last time I was thinking, no, man, this is almost a perfect remake. There's not really that many bugs. And then I come to find out that my save file got corrupted out of nowhere, so that's down the drain, and I found out there's a whole bunch of other game-breaking bugs. And in the process of trying to figure out what was going on, because when I loaded the save, I didn't realize at first. I was kind of hoping against reality that my file was okay and it was a different error that there would just be a patch for, which is why there wasn't a new Oddworld yesterday and instead of back-to-back RE4 episodes. I was kind of hoping it was something else that would just be really quickly, quietly taken care of. I got on support chat with PlayStation Support, who are the most useless... More sound cutting out in the background. What the hell is that all about? They are the most worthless motherfuckers I've ever dealt with. They're right up there with, like, Audible customer support. So... where is it? Oh, I wrote down... I wrote down a choice little quote of theirs towards the beginning of my interaction with them. So I started asking them about this error code that I got when I tried to load my save. And the response was I see, David. I'll check that out for you. This error appears when an error has occurred. That was about the extent of the help they were able to provide for me. I don't know what oh god, I think I know what I'm supposed to do here. Yeah. I missed something very, very crucial, which I think is a well that leads me above that second slig. Yeah, I totally just, while I was looking down at the little note card I wrote that quote down on, I love that quote so much! This error appears when an error has occurred. Oh, fuck you, Sony, or PlayStation support. Yeah, so you use him to come down here, suicide him onto the bombs, you clear those out, and that makes the lever accessible. So needless to say, I've been pretty pissed off having to replay the game. Not that it's that long of a game, especially if you know what you're doing. It took about an hour to get back here. Still not happy knowing that shit can just happen out of the blue. And I found out there are a bunch of other ways that save files can corrupt. And I'm not even quite sure how it happened to me in the first place, but there are tons of ways it can happen, so... Oh, hey, Splinter's Manufacturing coming soon. Splinter's Manufacturing is a toothpick company from Munches that I don't think that... Oops. I don't think that sign was ever there in the original game. I think that's just like a little fun continuity nod. It's kind of like Munch's equivalent to Rupture Farms in this game, or Soulstorm Brewery from Exodus. And I think the idea was that they were intending to log in Paramonia and cut down all the trees. Soulstorm, the one from Exodus, I think that took the Mudokon pop thing a little bit further and way darker. Like, Soulstorm was this energy drink, I think, that was, made from the ground up bones of dead Mudokons. Oh, speaking of Soulstorm, actually, Abe's Oddysee was originally going to be called Soulstorm, like fucking Bone Storm from The Simpsons. Thrill House! Yeah, it was going to be named after that drink, and then it got changed at some point to be called just Epic. Like, it was either going to be Soulstorm or Epic, which are two of the worst names ever before the Oddworld moniker kind of gained traction at Oddworld Inhabitants. I want to say the name in Japan was Abagogo. Again, more terrible names. It's amazing how many bad names you can dig up for games and people and characters and stuff. Like, I say people thinking of... There's one in particular that I love. It was a list of potential names they were thinking of going with, they were gonna stick Stone Cold Steve Austin with after he was the ringmaster when he debuted. It was shit like Otto Von Ruthless and Ice Dagger and Fang McFrost, which sound like Mega Man villains, Mega Man X Mavericks. Oh man, or the all-time best, I think when Triple H debuted in WWF, he was called Terra Rising. I love hearing about all the terrible names that almost were. Man, the sounds in the background for some reason right now are just all messed up. This is like the third time I've noticed it. I kind of thought I could just sneak my way past that. Nope. That was bad. Yeah, I love hearing about those kinds of terrible names. Like, hey, there's another good one about Halo. Halo Combat Evolved. That's a stupid name that actually stuck around. It was originally obviously just gonna be Halo, and then they stuck the stupid Combat Evolved subtitle on because the marketing people at Microsoft were like, oh no, people won't get the whole gun shooting angle with a name like Halo. You gotta make it gritty and marketable and edgy and obvious about what it's about. It's about shooting guns and the combat's evolved. Oh, that's a great name. You can just hear the marketing man going like, yeah, Combat Evolved, that's a great name. Tells people what it's about. Nah, it's terrible. And straight through. I think we're actually coming up on the last of the... no, there's still a couple more. I thought that was the last Ellie section. Memory for this part's not that great. The lead up to the temple's much shorter here in Paramonia than it was in Scrabania. So as for some of the game-breaking bugs, because I realized I kind of went off on a tangent about that really cool little continuity addition for Splinter's manufacturing. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways save files can get corrupted that I've learned about since dealing with this problem. There's a lot of different crashes that I didn't know about that can occur pretty easily, and there's just a bunch of ways the game can implode. It pains me to say, but if you're thinking about picking this up, I gotta say, keep your distance, at least for a little while. It's hard to be as mad coming from essentially an independent developer. I'm sure they got a lot of funding and stuff from Sony, and Sony published it, I do believe. But for the most part, a lot of this, I think the Just Add Water folks, a lot of this work was done independently, so it's hard to hold it against them that hard, but it's still just like, a game comes out with that many game-breaking bugs, that's not okay, that's not acceptable. I'm just moderately less pissed off. Really disappointed, because this is otherwise such a stellar, just totally lovingly crafted remake, but lots of potential for bullshit. I do appreciate, though, and this kind of softens the blow of there being so many game-breaking, wonky, janky-ass issues. This softens the blow a lot. I appreciate that the Just Add Water folks have been so transparent, and they've stayed in touch and gone out of their way to stay in touch with all of the Oddworld fans and acknowledge all of their fuck-ups, haven't tried to, like, PR spin that shit away, like EA's over-delivering on value garbage. They've been given, like, constant updates and ETAs and stuff, and explaining to people how to avoid some of the game-breaking issues in the meantime. It's like they've gone out of their way to try to make a very shitty situation right, and that's at least appreciated. It's not gone unnoticed, but yeah, I gotta say, if you're thinking about picking this up, keep your distance for a couple of months at least. Let them iron out all of this bullshit. It is... I can't say enough how just stellar this is for a remake, how many convenience, quality of life changes they've made. Oh god, I'm gonna give Ellie brain damage if I keep doing that. I think this is the last section leading up to the temple. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's super frustrating. And I don't exactly know if it's fair that I am not throwing Just Add Water under the bus harder for this, but I think there's certain allowances that you make for this company as opposed to like an EA with a shitty track record like that. I'm gonna stop ranting now though, because we have a cutscene introducing some very cool stuff. Yeah, all the webbing and the sligs and everything stuck to the walls. Oh god, it gives it this really great creepy vibe. There are a couple of annoying parts in the temple, but for the most part it's pretty cool. And dealing with the Paramites is actually completely different from the Scrabs. This is going to be a little bit of a short episode, unfortunately, because I'm not going to have time to go through the temple, given that I just had to go through the rest of the game. So we'll tackle the temple proper next time, and then we will have completed both the Scrab and Paramite temples. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.